Wall's a little farther back than you thought.
Right, exactly. What's up, fellas?
How are you doing?
Good, man, good.
Overall importance of Summer League in terms of evaluating players and just what you see out of them?
It's very important. Obviously, it gives our young guys a chance to play some meaningful minutes that haven't had an opportunity to during the regular season. And just kind of get back into a groove, and it gives, the staff and both management as well as coaching staff opportunity to, like you said, to evaluate them and see where they see we can utilize them the following season. So that's huge. But then also it's opportunity to look at some of the free agents that we have on the roster that we have interest in, and see if they're guys that can fit into what we're trying to do as well.
Gives your staff a chance to work some NBA games too.
100%. I think it's real key for us, young coaches developing. I've been a head coach the last couple of years, so I've had that opportunity. But it's obviously a constant opportunity to just refresh and get better at and learn from the past and everything. And then, like you said, for our staff, a lot of those guys don't have that opportunity throughout the regular season. Video guy, video room, and other responsibilities. But now they have an opportunity to have a huge voice within the Summer League.
The stuff that you're saying about Jacob, just kind of build off of that from the previous few days. How did you see his shot kind of evolve throughout his time with you?
His shot?
Yeah.
He's been working on it. I just told you before, he's worked on it a ton with Willie Green, and he's gotten a lot better. He's a lot more confident in it. I think he's always had a great mid-range pull-up. He get to a spot and raise, and it's pretty. He got a good flick of the wrist. And he's just extending that range, but, you want him to knock down those shots, but more importantly, what I love about him is his ability to affect the game in other ways. He's a hell of a defender. He's smart out there. He has the ability to get to the basket, but he kind of provides, some stability on the court a little bit, Obviously, he's not Andre or Sean, but he has that type of potential, I believe, in his mindset, because he's kind of a jack of all trades in that regard of defending. He can make good passes, good reads, and things like that.
Smiley, that you can kind of let him go now that the cat's out of the bag and you've drafted him, and now you don't have to hold him back anymore.
I ain't never held him back. I ain't never hold Smiley back. Shoot. Ask KD. KD seen him in action, so he know there was games Smiley in the G League had 25 and 12, so it wasn't no holding him back, But obviously in the G League, people always assume that, but in the G League we had a hell of a roster.
Sure.
We had a deep roster. We was had the top record in the tie for the top record, so we had a deep roster, man. And so it wasn't no holding back. But with that being said, he is a focal point now.
Yeah.
So now he's had the ability to go out and do a little bit of the things that he wanted to do.
Right.
That we was just like, hey man, we trying to do a certain type of way. So it's definitely gonna be fun. I'm glad that he's here with us, and I'm excited.
How important is this summer for Damian Jones, coming off an injury and getting that consistent playing time again?
I think it's key, man, and obviously it was unfortunate for him with that injury this year because he was playing some significant minutes, started a little bit as well, and so to be out for a while and then just not have any type of game action aside from any type of real game action, it's hard. So I think it's important for him just to kind of get a rhythm, just get back into playing and just get some more reps. I think that's the most important thing for him is the reps, and obviously, we want him to, talking with Steve and, continue to rim run hard, set good screens, dive to the basket, and be a force defensively.
What do you remember about when Alen came in, like what your initial expectations were and
We didn't
how
have
it kind of
none.
played out? Yeah.
No, we didn't have none, so it was kind of funny. We had built out our roster, and then, Kent was like, hey, we're looking at this, young Serbian kid that's probably a project, and so when he said that, I was like, okay, he was not in the plans to play at all. In fact, I think the first game or two, man, he might have got in like the late minutes, But to be honest with you, that first practice, when he practiced with us, I was like, oh, shit. You got something special here, But at the same time, we still had a deep roster, And the reality is, for him, he had being 18 years old, you know, he was a high school senior. And so he wasn't used to playing, you know, those amount of games that we played. And so we had to definitely bring him along slowly.
Yeah. What do we remember about Marcus came down? Like, what were those moments?
Oh, those was great. Those was great, man. I mean, you know, DeMarcus was passionate, you know, but it was fun. Our guys loved it. You know, Mike Lee, Coach Lee was talking about it the other day, how we was doing one of our drills, and he got mad at it because he didn't like the rules of it. And Coach Lee was just like, hey, man, I'm sorry, this is how it goes, you know, but he had fun with it. You know, DeMarcus had fun, you know, and I mean, it was enjoyable coaching, having an opportunity to work with him down there, and I think our guys really enjoyed it as well.
What did you take away from being on Steve Kerr's staff during the playoffs?
Not in particular, but just
I mean, I always say, man, you know, Steve has a great way about communicating with his players, you know, and you know, I think that's the biggest thing in this league, you know, is being able to manage the guys' expectations, you know, and keeping them bought in. You know, I think he does a great job of communicating with guys, and giving everybody some form of a voice, but him still being the ultimate voice. You know, and so I think that's huge. You know, I think that's huge. He's a very collaborative coach. You know, not only with his staff, but with the players as well. You know, which, you know, I would appreciate if I was a player, and I really appreciate it as an assistant.
Smiley, what are some things fans should keep in mind as they watch him tonight? Is the differences between G League and Summer League?
What fans, I mean, understand that the kid was just graduated from high school last week, damn near, you know what I'm saying? So he's young, you know, so I think that's an important thing. But, man, the kid talented, you know, he's very talented. You know, I mean, I don't think you should expect anybody on our team to go out and get 30 or try to get 30, you know, because that's not how we play, and that's not what we're expecting out of anyone. You know, you should expect him to compete no matter who's in front of him. You know, and I believe they got Bagley on the team, and then they got some other NBA guys that's on NBA rosters, you know, throughout this summer league here. And that's one thing I know he ain't gonna back down against nobody. You know, that's one thing is for certain. You know, so whether he makes shots, miss shots, turn the ball over, make great passes, I don't know, but I know he's gonna compete.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.